Your Cleveland Browns are off today, so that means that we are going to find a topic that really fits looking ahead at obviously trying to map out, the rest of the year while thinking about where the Browns could be a year from now. You start thinking about teams like the Panthers who are 6-5 and how you get from worst to first, not necessarily maybe first, but in the world of playoff contention again. And we have gone into several conversations about what it's going to take offensively to turn them around. But I wanted to take a bigger picture look at some of the other teams struggling across the NFL this year and ask the question, would you rather be in the position the Browns are in, or would you rather be the position that other team is in? To give us some perspective on the opportunity to turn it around. What's the outlook? It's an imperfect science on really a topic it's going to have a lot of subjectivity to it, but I think it can be a fun exercise. And I'm curious if our opinions align with you guys who are listening. So that's what we're doing on today's Browns Film Breakdown, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook and Monfredi Dental. Let's get started right now. What's up and welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So it is a November 19th podcast for you. Again, want to thank our sponsors, FanDuel Sportsbook, Monfredi Dental. Monfredi Dental, the one place I think I would trust over any dental office that you can find, the greater Columbus area. If you're here in Ohio, it is fantastic customer service, a staff who will work with you and any insurance carrier. They take most of them so you can get in there and get yourself taken care of. They are just south of Hilliard here on the west side in Galloway, and they are, again, fantastic people and could not recommend them enough. So thanks again to Monfredi Dental. Now, I do want to say this angle we're taking here, Brad, because the Browns are on the off day, is to just look at around the league. Again, your team's 2-8, 2-9. I think the Giants are the only 2-9 team. It's weird. There's like no bye weeks for a couple, and then there's a week 14 set of buys for like 4 teams, Giants being one of them. I found it weird that like you don't have any buys for a couple weeks, and then you have a slew of them toward the end of the year. So that caught me by surprise. But yeah, there's a bunch of these 1-win, 2-win teams and a couple 3-win teams. And I think it's an interesting hobby to, maybe hobby's not the right word, just to study, to look at the nature of where those teams are and then ask yourself the question of, is it going to be harder for the Browns to dig out of this hole and get things figured out for next year? Or is it going to be a situation where you would prefer to be the other team's situation, because that tells you how bad or how dark this is. Now, we are trying to remove the orange and brown sunglasses as best we can, right? That's the hobby here, is to try to figure this out without tilting towards the Browns. But there are going to be a bunch of subjective opinions on this, but I do think the exercise is at least interesting, as we are, unfortunately, in the second to last week of November, starting to think ahead for the next season that they could figure this out, right? So before we get to anything, but I think we should sort of lay out what the Browns have and what we're looking at. I think the 3 things to look at are current talents on the roster, like blue chip, and then like, I don't know if elite's the right words, but like high quality players, right? And I have a list of those that we can talk about. I think future draft picks matter in this equation, right?
Yep.
And then I would say future salary cap matters. Now, the salary cap study stuff is very tricky. Some teams have 26 set up where they have a lot of space. Some teams can create a lot of space. I am not getting deep in the weeds on the cap today. It is just looking at which teams are projected to organically have the most cap space available. As the Browns currently sit looking at over the cap's 26 projection, they're a team that's on the negative side of things, right? They're at like negative 3.8, but it has been mapped out, discussed, and we have gone through this extensively, that they can open up a significant amount of space still, even despite the Watson situation and some of the other void year dead cap stuff that lingers. As the cap goes up, they can create, but they're going to have to create it, which means you're going to have to let go of players. There's only a certain number of guys even guaranteed contracts for next year. So what I'm getting at is
Only 8.
Yeah, there's not like, there are teams that have a easier pathway to open cap space. It's not to say teams can't open cap space, but some teams have an easier way that also has a higher volume of players on their roster. So that's the point, right? So, having said that, I just reiterate the Browns are, I think, looking at this maybe 25th, 26th on this list for next year's cap space, listing. There's going to be, again, there's like a dead cap number of 31 million. We'll see what they do. There's some things they're going to have to do. There's some post cuts. I think there's some very obvious guys there that will be post June 1st cuts. But they're going to have to do real work, which is reshaping a lot of names on the roster to get to a number that approaches some of the other teams on this list.
Well, I would just say this without diving in too deep into it as well. They will restructure Watson again. They will roll it over again. And it will create a bunch of open cap space. They will restructure all their guys again because this is what they do. As long as Andrew Berry's in control, this is what they will do.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the projection from Jack out there, and they can create up to like 98 million in cap space.
Yes, but also kind of keeping in mind too that Watson bill does come chunky due the following year when they want to cut him. So I understand the cap will go up. It's just not something that disappears, and it's not an albatross that other teams on this list have to deal with. We can all accept that. Yeah. So let's go through how we're gonna do this. Also, is a little, you might view it as sideways, but I think it's an interesting way to at least look at it. Is like the worst teams in the league are usually the teams with the worst overall, every position, passing, running, pass block, run defense, pass defense from PFF grades. And I think it actually spits out a pretty good list of teams in the worst spots imaginable right now. So the Browns are 26th in overall PFF grade across all graded setups. The Browns, so just to give you an example, the Browns' highest grade for their unit is 89 in the pass rush department. Okay. So I think
first.
the run defense is like 83rd. The worst grade they have is a 36.7 pass blocking grade. I think we can all agree that checks out. So I'm just giving you guys some context on that. 68.9, that's 26th. I did not want to go up to 22 because that's Panthers, Commanders. I know the Commanders are a 3-win team right now. I know the Cardinals are a 3-win team, but we had to draw the line somewhere. I think you could also extend this list out to the Falcons, who are dealing with whatever the hell's going on with Michael Penix in a not so crazy scenario where the Falcons could give up the first overall pick in this world. Like, the scenario for it is tricky, but it's not that tricky where they don't win another game the rest of the year and ultimately have the first overall pick that is, if you needed to be reminded, is going to LA this year. So stop trading your future first, people, please. Unless you want to trade them to Cleveland, we will accept those. But having said that, I drew the line at 24, which is the Jets. So here's the teams that we're going to cross compare. The Jets, Vikings. I know the Vikings are 4-6, but I think it's kind of fair with what's going on over there. Titans, Saints, Giants, Dolphins, Bengals at 31, and Raiders. All right. Okay, now we've talked about the cap. The Browns have a adjustable cap, but inside of getting to that adjusted number, there's going to be heavy player turnover. All right, so let's put it this way. They're going to have to work to get the cap number they want and then work their way out of it. Whereas next year's projected highest cap space open teams are the Titans, Raiders, Jets, Rams, Commanders, like the Bengals are in there. There are also some teams in the same Dolphins and Saints are in a bad spot in the cap, actually projected to have less cap space than the Browns. So that's a part of the conversation. So looking at it again, the 26 cap space projection, and I am not getting technical here, is like negative 3.7. As Brad mentioned, and very fairly mentioned, it can be adjusted. It will be adjusted. They will do things. They will get to a healthy number. Do they get all the way to 98? Who knows? But they're probably going to get themselves in a spot to make the necessary moves that they want to try to make. Now, 27, it gets a little more open. This is wildly projected number that is so fluid. It's hard to even get there. But like, the two teams projected to be in the worst shape in the 27 cap are the Cowboys and 49ers. Those are teams that are over the cap at that spot. But the Browns are projected to have Let me see here from over the cap, like 123 million to work with. Whereas the top teams, the Jets, Rams, Raiders, Texans, Chargers, Colts, Commanders, Cardinals, Saints are like 145 and above, all the way up to the Jets, 209. So again, very loose here. I don't really want to dig into this. If we wanted to get Forma, we would bring Jack in and really get after it. But we don't
that
need
number is going to be skewed because ultimately, if they do keep Deshaun, a lot of that money will be pushed into that year. So
100%. That is, they're going to have to pay that chunky bill 1 year eventually.
Well, they're going to split it out,
They'll
right?
spread it out. But yeah, they're going to get like a split payment, like a what do they call that? A firm or whatever. The pay it later. So they'll get some of that, no doubt. But it is going to be a fat split, no doubt about that. Okay. So we've covered the Browns cap situation. Here are the players on the roster that I consider to be blue chip elite players. I think it's Miles and it's probably Denzel right now. Fringe worthy elite players on the roster. Like I'm talking best in the NFL type talents. Someone who could get there potentially for them. I think we could all agree Carson Schlesinger could get there sooner than maybe somebody expected, but that's probably the end of being the best in the position. Now, here's how I view high quality players for the Browns, right? And I'm probably going to ignore Joel Bitonio because I don't know if he's going to play another year. So I would say your high quality players are Grant Delpit, Quinshon Judkins, Mason Graham, Malik Collins. That's probably the list. And I think you can make a great argument for Harold Fannin, but that's, again, his blocking has been so bad. The receiving has been good, but it's like, I think you got to draw the line somewhere. Those are like quality players. I'm talking high quality players at this spot.
Where would you put Ronnie Hickman?
He's a quality player. I think he's quality.
Ranked top 8 safeties in the league right now.
I think it's fair to have him at the quality spot. I would not, because of a lack of versatility, just being a solo single high safety is what he's best at.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't put him in the high quality tier, but a quality player. Anyone else you want to push back on? Getting there. I need to see a better sample size from him. Getting there, having a nice year. I wonder what's going on with his court situation. The NFL is going to eventually suspend him next year. Something I was thinking about there. I did have Malik Collins as a high quality player.
Okay.
Anyone else you would push on?
I want to stay like Jerry Jeudy, but he hasn't given it to us enough this year, so no.
Okay, so that's our list. We all know them. Miles, Denzel, I think, are the high quality just blue chip players, in my opinion, at their position. And then we would say Grant Delpit. We would say Quinshon Judkins is, and these are like, rookies, but I think they're high quality rookies. Mason Graham, Schlesinger, and that's kind of where we draw the line into Malik Collins on the high quality. All right, let's go through now. Draft capital. The Browns obviously have 2 first-round picks.
They do.
That matters. And then I think you would note that they have an abundance of extra selections in other rounds, kind of starting in the 4th round. You can go through those if you'd like, Brad. And then I don't know what they have into the future though for 27 and 28.
Yeah, this is insane. Insanely hard to follow here. So, they have, according to this, they have obviously the 2 firsts, right? Wow. And then they have their own second, their own third. They have the Bengals 5th, their own 5th, and the Raiders 5th from the Pickett trade. That's the Flacco and the Pickett trade right there, combined to give you 3 5th-rounders.
Mm-hmm.
In the 6th round, they have the Bears pick from the Joe Tryon Shoyinka trade.
So I'm seeing they have four 6th rounders and 4 7th rounders. Am I seeing that right?
4 6th rounders. They have the Jets pick from a Jawan Briggs trade. They have the Zadarius Smith trade comp there in the 6th round. And in the 7th, they have 4 more from the Bills, the Eagles, the Seahawks. Players like Nick Harris, more Zadarius trade comp, and the Amari Cooper comp. So,
all right.
They have 4 sevens, 4 sixes, 3 fives of their own, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 2 1. So they have a ton of picks in this draft.
It looks like
And
in 27 they have all their own picks through the first 4 rounds, and the 5th round they might add 1 pick.
they have a Texans pick.
Yeah,
in
which
the
is I'm not totally
5th.
even sure what that's for.
It
Not
is a pick swap of sorts. It
with
looks
the
like
Texans. Oh, so the Texans take one of those picks. I'm not sure. It's tricky. They have there's something with the Cam Robinson trade in there. Some of these get really hard to follow down the line.
they traded their 25 6th round pick and 7th round pick to the Texans for their 25 5th round pick. I bet you this was the Shador trade?
Might be.
Yeah.
Again,
And then
we're getting kind of technical with it, which is
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, this is actually really hard to follow. It's hard to find a site that does this really well. But at this point, we know that they've got a couple extra picks possible in the 27 draft, but nothing noteworthy in the first 5 rounds, right?
3 picks in the 7th round.
Correct. And then they have the KT Levison trade lingering out in the 28 draft, which is I think a swap with the Rams is what they did for that
7th.
one. So yeah. Okay. So we know that the Browns are stocked up on extra picks. The pick that really matters is the Jags pick.
Yep.
And then obviously they get some extra 5s, they get some extra 6s and 7s in this draft, and there could be some comp picks that come back for veteran players like Njoku or Teller who leave.
Yep.
There's some stuff lingering there. We've gone through this before. So let's now start to go ahead, buddy.
They have a lot of room to maneuver around in this draft.
100%. Now, let's try to cross compare teams and ask this question quickly. Would you rather swap Brown's position with them or take that team's position? And we are going to include what's the coaching staff look like? Some of those elements matter as well. We will do that right after a quick word from our sponsors. All right, Brad, first up is the New York Jets, sitting at 2-8, special teams heater that gave them a win over the Browns. In the tankathon world, they're currently projected for the 5th pick. They are very healthy in the salary cap world, right? They moved Sauce, they moved Quinnen, that took blue chip players off the roster. But as far as 26 goes, they're going to be top 5 in cap space open. They're going to have the coaching staff, I would imagine, a second year with Glenn and his guys. So they're not going through a coaching change. And I don't feel like people have any opinion one way or the other on that coaching staff yet.
Not yet.
Not really.
I probably do, but mine's probably a little biased.
All right. Well, we'll keep that in mind when you make your choice. That's fine. So the Jets roster, as far as marquee talent at this point. So blue chip guys for me, I think Garrett Wilson's a blue chip player, and I think Breece Hall's a blue chip player. He's a very good two-way running back. An argument could be made for Elijah Vera Tucker, who's one of the better interior players, but is hurt this year, injury history, adding up. And then it's very early, but we said the same thing with Carson and Quinshawn and Mason. Armand Membao is definitely in the group. I mean, he is playing some really good football as a rookie. Quality talent, high quality talent, non-elite, but high quality talent. All right. I would put Vera Tucker in that group. I think that Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end that they drafted in the first round a few years ago, still in that group. I think that Will McDonald, who just had 3 sacks against the Browns, is still in that group.
Very good.
And then that's probably it, but you could make a fair argument for me for 2 more young players. Mason Taylor, who I think is a very good young tight end they took at the top of the 2nd round, who is doing a nice work for them in an offense that's pass game limited, to be friendly. And then Olu Fashanu, their 2nd-year offensive tackle they took in last year's class, who I think has made some nice strides. So we're going to be generous on those 2 and allow those 2 to come in, knowing what the Browns have versus what they have.
Yeah, I would put Taylor in the same boat as Fannin.
I think that's probably fair. So we can keep Taylor and Fannin in the same spot and kind of call them just outside that spot. Fair. I like it. Okay. We talked about the salary cap. Now we talk about draft sort of capital for them, which has turned in a very good direction, to be totally fair, for their draft situation.
So they will have the Colts first rounder and their own first rounder, which their own is projected to be, would you say 5 right now?
Currently 5th, yes.
They will have the Cowboys second rounder and their own second rounder. They have the, what is that? I can't even tell. Their own third, I guess? Or is that from the Eagles? I can't tell. They have a 3rd round pick, a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 sixes.
I think they traded that 3rd rounder for Hassan Reddick, if I recall.
4 sevens. You're right.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
I don't
what's
like how they
coming
have
in
this
what's
labeled.
going out on here.
Yeah, I think if the team on the left is the team that gave up the asset, is how I'm reading it. Because if you look at like the Colts first rounder,
right.
the Jets get, so it's the team furthest to the right that has the pick. If that makes sense. The site we're looking at, which is I don't know the name of this, Pro Sports Transactions, where
No,
identifying this. I think that's right. Okay. So they have a lot of capital here.
So some of these, so actually that is the Eagles pick. They don't have a third. Then take that back.
Yeah, this is fascinating. So like they traded the Browns their 6th round pick in 26, but the Browns then traded that 6th round pick for Tyson Campbell as a part of the Greg Newsome trade, and then the Jags traded that 6th round pick again, to the Raiders for Jacoby Myers. It's actually kind of, now I understand how they have this site laid out. It is kind of fun. I get what they're doing.
So they do have, ultimately, they do have, how many picks in the 6th round? None? So I thought they had a bunch, but they don't have any there. So they've traded them all away in the 6th. They have 2 in the 7th.
Off of them.
3 in the 7th. 3 in the 7th. There they go. Now in 2027, it gets real spicy because they have what? The Colts first. The second of the Colts first is in the Sauce trade, right?
Yep.
They have the Cowboys first.
Yep.
They have their own first.
The more favorable of those picks between the Cowboys and Packers.
So yeah. So they have 3.
They have 3 first round picks in 27.
That's absurd.
2 first rounders in 26. Plus the additional 2nd that they received, like you mentioned earlier, for Quinnen Williams. Yep.
And then they have their own 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then in the late rounds of 27, they have, let's see here, just 1. It looks like better of 2 picks there in the 6th, and then they have none in the 7th. So
yeah. I mean, the Jets are in an interesting spot. They have 2 tackles that are really promising, 2 interior players that I view as very promising, a wide receiver 1, a defense that is not as complete as it was before, but have some fun edge pieces. I don't think Browns fans are going to like this, but I think the health of their cap, the opportunity that they have deep into the next 2 drafts, I think the Jets are a team I would trade situations with. I just feel like they have more opportunity, clear, clean opportunity, younger players on their roster that are more appealing. Now, both teams need quarterbacks. It's going to define all of it, right? But I think the Jets are in a healthier space.
I would disagree. I think
they're
in a better. Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking of how I wanted to phrase this. I think that they are definitely in a better position in the draft. I don't think the cap is going to be an issue for. I know that on the surface it looks like they're in a much better cap spot, but I do not think the cap is going to be an issue for the Browns. The way that they have it structured, they will be able to spend what they want to spend. It's never been restrictive. As much as it's been, Watson is an albatross there, but Berea's never let it be restrictive to what they spend. So I don't think they're going to let that happen this year.
So you don't. I just want to be on. You don't think the Jets have more free spending to do in free agency than the Browns.
They probably do ultimately. It's probably easier to accomplish, but I think the Browns defense, the one thing that I will go back to here is that in looking at these PFF rankings, the Browns are 26th. They are first in offense, first in run defense, and first in pass rush in all of the NFL PFF ranking.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is your calling card.
So if you can keep that core together, that's a lot less building you have to do. The Browns are ultimately trying to flip their offense in like 2 off seasons. And I think that the Jets are trying to flip their entire roster.
I think the way I would push back, and I don't want to do this too crazy for every team, is like they have pillars of their offense already in place that the Browns don't have. Tackles, wide receiver, and some interior pieces. Like those guys are in place. And on defense, they have young quality edge players. And I feel like getting corners that matter on the fringe market and safeties that can be there in the fringe market is less difficult than getting important pieces up the middle of your defense. So that's the only pushback I would have. And I obviously think they can spend and they have capital that is in a better place than the Browns. But I don't think it's such a crazy opinion to have that the Browns you would prefer the Browns situation, especially if you want to lean into the idea that they have an owner who will do very unique things in providing cash in that world. So again, two opinions on it, right?
Their defense this year is 60. They have a 63 ranking in defense this year.
There's no doubt it's not been good enough. It's not even a question.
Bad defense and a bad offense. I think the Browns will keep their core together on defense, and I don't think it's just a regular core. I think it's a core that can be really good for years to come. I think once again it will come down to picking that quarterback. Will make all the difference in the world here. But
if the Jets are hungrier for the quarterback, they do have more ammunition.
They can get it. Yep.
Let's just that's crazy to have 3 first and 1 draft. Wow. They got to hit on those. Okay.
That's true.
Vikings 4-6. They're 25th in front of the Browns grade. Largely their defense has not, especially coverage has hurt them. Pass rush, tackling has not been as good. The offense is clearly better than the Browns. It's not difficult to do that. Real quick, just some updates on them. As far as next year's cap space goes, they're in a worse spot significantly on the surface. Again, $37 million over the cap projected for next year. And I know that Kwesi's given up a significant amount of draft capital. Really, the tough part for the Jets or the Vikings is that like they have to have JJ McCarthy matter. They have to have it. And right now, they're not in a space where he matters very much. So, looking at their future picks, they're in a better spot. They gave up their 4th rounder this year. They have a couple 5th round picks.
They're on,
and then they have
they're on 2nd, they're on 3rd.
I don't even know if they have a 6th round pick. Actually, I don't think they do.
They don't.
They've given up all their 6th round picks and they've anything they've acquired, and then they have 4 7s. Okay, good. And then in the future 27 draft, they have no 4th round pick, 2 5th round picks.
Yep.
And then 3 6. So they have some later capital in future drafts, but they sacrificed a lot last year. They made some pretty aggressive moves to go up and get some guys that they wanted, right?
So their mistake they made was letting Sam Darnold go, it would appear.
It would appear for sure.
And so the question for me about the Vikings is because I think, we haven't done the blue chip talent, so let's do that. Sorry.
Yeah, real quick. Justin Jefferson, obviously. Christian Darrisaw, obviously. Jonathan Allen, interior D tackle, very good football player. He's in the group. Brian O'Neill, the other tackle, is in the group for me. And then the highly talented guys below that Byron Murphy, a corner for them, nice player. Jonathan Grenard, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison.
I'd put Addison blue chip.
I wouldn't go that, just me personally, I wouldn't go so far there. But again, different quarterback scenario. He's went through some really weird disciplinary stuff this year on that side too. But that's probably where I draw the line. I mean, Andrew Van Ginkel can be really good for them. We remember the statistics about him on and off the field when the Browns were setting up to play them. So, but I'm not going to put him in high quality talent. I think we've kind of nailed who's their core of guys, right? 2 tackles are really good. The best receiver in football, probably one of the best second receivers in football, a really good tight end, and then a good corner, good edge rusher. They also still have the young edge rusher who hasn't panned out quite yet. Whose name is Dallas Turner, who's slipping me there for a second. He has not turned into who they thought he would be so far. But yeah.
You still have Aaron Jones.
He is on the roster, not anywhere near as good as he is.
Right.
Once was.
But who's the guy that they're going to now?
Jordan Mason. He's been fine.
Yeah.
He's been
good.
They're currently projected to pick. Where are they at? They're a 4-win team, so they're 12th currently. All right. There's a lot of things on this roster that are interesting.
I would swap with the Vikings.
You would swap with the Vikings?
Yeah.
Man, I am more wavering on this than I am the Jets.
Oh, wow.
But I probably would have to do it too. I like the coach. That's a big part of it. I like O'Connell a lot.
Huge part.
It's a huge part. So I agree. I would get there. I would get there too. Even though I do think they're screwed with this McCarthy thing. I don't think he's good, man.
You don't think they can make like Mac Jones work in the offseason or something?
Yeah, that's certainly possible. Obviously, O'Connell seems to have like a thing for fixing quarterbacks more than helping them to get to the next level. I've never been a believer in McCarthy, and it's playing out the way I thought it would play out.
Yeah,
so
I think they'll find a resolution there. I let me say this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. About the Jets, I don't like their head coach. I don't think he's I think he's a good defensive coordinator. I don't think he's good for their head coach. I don't like that situation, and that was part of that for me. I do love Kevin O'Connell, and I think O'Connell is a stud, and I think that's
it's funny watching their fan base shift on him. It's really funny, but I think it just boils down to like they should have just kept Sam Darnold. When you get lightning in a bottle, you got to keep it. You can't do it, and you could have got McCarthy out for something meaningful last year. So anyway, moving on.
Yeah, and they just have weapons. Their pass game, they just have so many weapons with Hawkinson.
Hard to find weapons.
Addison and Jefferson. I mean that right there. Like I feel like going into this year, a lot of people thought they were going to compete for the North.
Mm-hmm.
They have the talent.
They could. I mean, could turn it around late. You never know. I don't think they're going to compete the rest of this year. I think they got a lot of big decisions to make the rest of the way. But not as good a team
though.
I would agree with that. Get the quarterback squared away. They're close. Would agree with that. Okay. Next is the Titans. They're 1-9. I'm going to say no already. I mean, we can go through it. I don't like any part of what they have going there. Like if you look at, they're over the cap. Obviously they got a ton of cap space. They're going to have the most cap space. Does anybody even care though? Like what's the draw? Like who are they going to draw in as a coach is interesting to me. I feel like that roster is so talentless. It's Jeffrey Simmons. And then like, who are their like L'Jarius Sneed? Like, who are their highest PFF guys? Zeiler? Yeah, the same Kevin Zeiler who was at the Browns all those years ago. I don't think this roster has much talent on it.
No.
I'm actually like, there's a chance here that they ruin Cam because they're so far away from having anything of relevance to help him. Obviously, like we said, they're going to be drafting a new quarterback. They're projected to have the first pick. Now, they could beat Cleveland. They could very easily beat Cleveland. But I'm not even worried about them because they're not taking a quarterback. Now the concern is them moving out of that spot for somebody to take a player the Browns would want in front of them. But yeah, man, you can't get. I know the cap space. I understand. I can't get there with them. They're so far in the hole of and Cam hasn't been so promising. You know what I mean? That I'm like, oh, got to do it. You know
Gotta
what
do
I'm
it. Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
They have
No,
obviously
I'm with
their
you.
first 3 picks. They have a conditional Ravens selection. I think they have a couple 5th round picks, 3 or 4 6th round picks. They have capital, but it's so bereft of talent, Brad. I can't do it. I just can't get
I
there.
I can't do it either. I'm with you.
Okay, we're moving off the Titans quickly. Sorry, Titans. 28th is the Saints, 2-8. Another team in cap hell for the next year. They are currently projected to be 12 million over the cap for next year. I mean, looking at their roster, I mean, Kellen Moore, I feel like the Saints are one of the teams I pay the least amount of attention to. Just don't
Agreed.
find myself thinking about the Saints at all. And some of this can change by the end of the year if they have like Tyler Shuck performs really well the rest of the way, I guess.
Yeah.
Could change that. But like their blue chip talent, I mean, is it
It's
Eric
lacking.
McCoy, their center? I mean, Demario Davis is still playing great football, but he's old.
Yeah.
Like, who's their guys? They got some high quality players like Justin Reed and Chris Olave. Chase
Which
Young is
they
actually catching on well for them, but it's not a deep roster. Like Fuaga, the tackle they took is okay. Kelvin Banks has been okay. It is nice to have some young tackle talent. I can admit that, especially going through what we're going through, but their cap situation, I'm unmoved by Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
I don't know I'm sure you have the picks up in front of you.
It's nothing special. They have their own picks. A couple mid rounders, additional, but there's nothing like the Jets have, right? Like they have their own picks pretty much moving forward. So I would say that at least for me, I put the Saints in the same bucket as the Titans.
I do too. There's nothing so appealing about the Saints situation that I feel like I'd have to take them over you know what I'm saying? There's not like, oh, look at this draft capital. Look at this. They're hurting in 2 spots. Projected salary cap situation because of some of the older names still on the roster, Kamara, Cam Jordan, some of those. And then like they don't have high quality young talent.
No.
There's not enough of it there. And I just less about the Titans head coach of the future, who we obviously don't know. I don't really have an opinion on Kellen Moore quite yet. I don't know. I'm unmoved by that.
As a head coach, no. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't either. Yeah.
So I'm going to pass on them as well.
Yeah.
Now it gets a little more interesting. This one's harder because the Giants are like going to have to hire a head coach, right? But let's look at where they're projected now because, like I said earlier, they've played one more game. They're 2-9. They still have to go to the bye. If they're equal with the Browns will get the higher pick. They're both 2-9. Browns would be in front of them. But they're currently projected to have the second pick. But also a team not quarterback hungry, as we would sit here right now, right? So not even looking at it from that angle. Now, looking at the roster, it would certainly have felt a little better with Scadaboo healthy, but there's still some really good blue chip players on this roster. Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, great player. Brian Burns having a great year. Malik Neighbors will come back from the ACL, very good football player. I think Abdul Carter, if we're going to include, I know he's not having as great a year as some people thought would have. He's still watching the tape. He's very good. I don't think I would put him as a blue chip player, but he's certainly a high quality player. And then you're kind of like looking at some pieces that Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, is a really good football player. I think Wan'Dale Robinson has made some nice steps for that. I would love Wan'Dale Robinson on the Browns, to be completely honest. But their high end, the high quality talent and the young talent is appealing. And if you include Jackson Dart in the high quality range because of the age, because of some of the things he's done, you even have like Theo Johnson's a nice young tight end for them. There are appealing pieces to this roster. Obviously, it all hinges on Jackson Dart. Their future cap situation is, let me see here. It's not great. It's not awful, but it's not great. They're currently projected to be 17 million under, 3 million over in effective cap space, but they can get movable in that world. And then into the future, they're going to be in a better spot in 27, obviously. So, the head coach, we don't know, obviously, but we could also say the same thing for the Browns. We might not know who the head coach is of the next year's version of the Browns. Now, as far as the draft goes, I'm sure you have that up in front of you, Brad.
I do. They have their own first and second. They traded away their third for Dart.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own fourth and fifth. They have 3 sixths, and no sevenths. And then in 27, they have all their own picks except they traded away their seventh.
This one's tough. Where are you at on this one?
So
I guess it probably comes down to how much you love Dart, right?
Yeah, that's where I was just gonna say. Actually, like, how much do you believe in Dart as a long-term answer at quarterback? Listen, he's fun. He has performed well early, but I feel like we've seen this story before, Jake, with like a guy like this, where like the league catches up to him a little bit at some point. I don't see him as like a long-term answer as like a franchise quarterback. I know he looks like he's trending that way right now, but I can just see the bottom falling out of this at some point.
I don't trust, like Gruden said to him way back in the Gruden school stuff before the draft, I don't trust him to take care of himself. I don't.
Facts.
And like, there's not enough there that I love that makes me overlook that. So
I'd rather have a pick.
I like their roster. I like some of their young, high quality talent. Now, Neighbors tearing the ACL, that stinks. Because it's like, what is he next year? There's always a lot of lingering stuff there. And like, is Abdul Carter going to be a real dude, or is he just always going to be like Kayvon Thibodeau is, a quality player, but never an elite player? That's the question. I don't think I can get there with the Giants. I just don't think I can get there quite yet. Some people, that's a spot where I think people could disagree with us, but I don't think I can get there.
If you love Dart and you think he's their answer, I get it.
Yeah. Yep.
But I can't get there with him as far as like, he's exciting. And if I was a Giants fan, I would be excited right now because of what he's shown already. I just fear that the bottom is going to drop out on that. I would rather have a high pick. Yeah. I'd rather have a high pick to swing at somebody in this draft, actually.
All right, Dolphins are next. They're 4-7 this year. What I watched in Cleveland is hard to Men in Black erase from my brain. My gut tells me initially I would not trade places with them. They're projected 11 million over the cap for next year. They just fired their GM because they're in such a rough place. Effective cap 30 million over. The draft, I know they moved some players there, Jalen Phillips late at the deadline, but so they have their first and second, and then they do have 3 thirds, which is nice.
So these next 3 become very easy for me.
I'm very interested in one of them. I would not trade places with the Dolphins. I mean, let's just stay true to the process here. The Dolphins are set up to have currently the 11th pick in the draft, which is just such a failure for them. They have a major decision to make on Tua that I would not want to be involved in any way, shape, or form.
Can't get behind it.
I can't either, man. And there's going to be some lingering money on him. Their high quality talent is like Minka Fitzpatrick, who's fine. Devon A-Chain is really good. Tyreek Hill's knee is backward. I don't know what's going to happen there. Jalen Waddle, I don't think I'd put Jalen Waddle as an elite talent. I think he's a high quality player.
Really? Okay, I'd put him as an elite.
I just the production over the last few years just hasn't been there to back it up for me. And I feel like he's got some just disappearing acts in games. I think I view him and Jordan Addison kind of on the same level. Like they're like really good second receivers to me.
Yeah.
Not guys that I trust to lead rooms. Would I like to have them, Brad? I would love to have those guys.
To have them.
For the sake of looking around the league, that's where I'm at. But after that, man, it's like
Maybe when
Bradley
I look
Chubb
at
is,
receivers through the Browns lens, they all just look so good to me because
yeah, like it's like a filter you got on.
yeah,
Like, oh, I like that one.
that guy looks great.
I don't like the Dolphins spot. I really am not envious of it. I don't think I would trade with it. I don't.
I would not. I'm with you.
Okay. Next is the Bengals, 3-7. The defense is in shambles.
I'd do it now.
I mean, it's Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase.
I'd do it right now.
Yeah. I mean, this one isn't even a debate. It's because Burrow's hurt that they're 3-7. Listen, they got real issues with the defense. It's in bad shape.
Much
Their
easier
picks
to fix
over the last
than an offense.
4 years cannot be ignored, and I'm with you. They have been really bad at picking these guys, though. And like Shamar Stewart, not good so far at all. And
First
like
thing
they need to
fire
hit
their head coach.
I think they need a refresh at head coach. They're a team where the ownership is always going to limit them, though. I mean, Mike Brown's always going to limit the ceiling because of the way they invest in scouting, the way they invest in thinking. I just don't trust them to get the defense right for them. But I do agree with you that the defense is the easier side to fix. And there are some talented guys over there, but they miss on Miles Murphy. They missed on Shamar Stewart. I mean, it's early to say they've totally missed on Shamar Stewart, but like the returns have been really unfavorable.
They gotta get somebody else in there that they take these guys that have no production and the athletic profile.
Right.
That's why they've missed on these guys. They're not drafting appropriately. At least they're my philosophy of drafting, or what I look at in people that I value around the league that draft well, they don't seem to be adhering to those kind of principles.
Yeah.
Like they gamble on guys with great traits and no production and stuff like that.
Yeah. I agree. I don't like their philosophy in their defense approach, and obviously it's showing every week for them. I'm not an Al Golden guy, so miss me with that. They do have no 5th round pick this year because they traded it for the Flacco trade, but they do get the Browns 6th round pick. So they no 5th, but 2 6ths. And then they picked up 2 additional 7ths off the Logan Wilson trade to the Cowboys. They don't have any other movement across the 27, 28, or 29 drafts currently. They're high quality players.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's the obvious guys. Hendrickson still got some years left. We'll see if they keep him, but nonetheless, Chase, Burrow, Hendrickson, Higgins, and then there's some high quality talents like Chase Brown. I mean, I like DJ Turner. I don't like Cam Taylor-Britt as much, but then it kind of slows down. But I mean, I like Amarius Mims' upside. I certainly see Orlando Brown is still a good enough tackle to survive in the league. They just like need some of these inside guys that they've invested in to become meaningful. Like Dalton Risner, they brought in, but who did they draft? Dylan Fairchild, who's been a little up and down. Georgia boy. So yeah, I mean, like, what's the Bengals cap spot look like for 26? It's
probably not great.
It's still it's 70 million project. They're still in the top 4th, but the there's obviously like eventually all those years that they're getting on like still rookie setups, like those bigger contracts are going to catch up with them and push them down the list. Like they go down the list over the next few years just because those bigger deals start to kick in for them that are going to eat up some more of their cap space.
All those still have to hit, right?
Yeah. They'll all hit at different times. They've got it spaced out in a way that's not awful, but they're going to have to pay them, and it's going to eat up a chunk. And that's why they need a lot of these picks to hit to keep cutting costs for them in a meaningful way. And they just haven't found an answer there. But I would trade with the Bengals because they have that dude at quarterback, and they've got the dudes at the other important positions to put up points. And whenever you can put up points the way they can put up points, you're always
got a shot
in the game, always in it. So I'm with you on that. I was worried you were going to say no because you were like, these last 3 are easy.
No, I was like, these 3 are easy because that one's a no-brainer. Because Joe Burrow just like changes, he puts you in the window now.
You got a shot. You got a shot with him every week.
Going to the Super Bowl, they've gone twice, right?
Yeah.
With him?
Yep. No, once.
once, almost twice
Yep.
on teams that were really not that tremendous of teams. Like they got hot at the right time both years. I felt like the embarrassment of riches at wide receiver isn't even needed because you have Joe Burrow. Like you don't even need those elite guys there. That's just their passing game is unreal and so fun to watch. They just got to fix the defense, and I do think they have some pieces. Like I wouldn't give up on Cam Taylor-Britt. Like I would,
No.
and there's some guys over there.
I agree. There's talent there. They just haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah,
in a meaningful way. So
but I do think they need a coaching change.
couldn't agree more.
So
couldn't agree more. But I would trade with them. So would you. All right, let's do Raiders, the 32nd ranked team on the way out. Here's their high quality players. Max Crosby, these are blue chip players. Crosby, Bowers, Colton Miller. It's early on Genty. I would put him in the high quality range. Still think he's really good. I think that probably ends the high quality talent, though. I mean, you're talking about then a bunch of like quality players in terms of like Jeremy Chin and Jackson Powers Johnson, one of their interior guys, and Trey Tucker's turned into a nice player. But that top end goes evaporated very fast. As far as their cap situation goes for 26, they do have a lot of money to play with. Second behind only the Titans in projected cap space. And then third in effective cap space being open. Nice spot there. As far as their picks go.
Yeah, they have a first, a second, their own first, second, third. They have 3 4s.
They do.
They have the Browns have their 5th for the Pickett deal.
Thanks, Kenny.
And then they have 2 6s and a 7. And then they have all their own picks in 2027.
Yep. I mean, and we should have mentioned the Bengals are projected to pick 9th, and currently the Raiders are projected to pick 6th. But if they beat the Browns, it changes things for them drastically this weekend. Or if they lose and Cleveland wins, it changes things for them drastically and they're higher. I don't think I would want. I wouldn't want to make this move. I don't like. The wide receiver group is not very good. One good tackle. The rest of the offensive line, as it's playing out in real time, is bad, really bad. I do love Brock Bowers. Can't lie there. Crosby's really good, a tier below Miles, but really, really good. But other than that, on defense, it's a hodgepodge, man. They don't have a bunch of pieces I like over there. They can spend. That's fine. And Pete Carroll is a real coach. Very real coach. If the Browns had Pete Carroll, I'd feel over the moon about it.
I was just going to say that. The best thing they have going for them is their coach.
It's closer for me, like teams that I want absolutely no part of in this discussion, Brad. Dolphins, Saints, Titans. No part of that. Closer for me, Raiders, Giants, and I think that's probably it. And then I think I took the 2 over them would be the Jets and Vikings. I know you're not on the Jets bandwagon there. But
I'm not on the Jets.
The Raiders
they feel like the Browns. Like I feel like I don't know. They feel like they have that curse over them as well.
They do. They're one of the longest playoff drought teams.
Yeah, and I just feel like the Browns defense has them closer, and the ability to make a coaching change this offseason, which could be a good or bad thing, makes him more. I don't want their head coach right now. And the decision at quarterback, I don't know. They both need quarterback. So I guess I'm fine where I'm at with the Browns defense tips the scales for me because I think they're in place. But that's it. I mean, I get the assets. I wouldn't argue you like to death on this. I understand why you would want the picks there.
Yeah. It's picks and cap space for me largely. That's where I find it so appealing. And then again, like I like their tackles and Garrett and some of the other pieces. But the Raiders, to close out the Raiders, just like I like some of what they bring to the table. I even like their lower middle class. I really like Pete. The Geno thing is awful. I don't like the direction of their offense in general. And they're in a spot where I think they're going to win a few more games and swing at a quarterback that's going to be uneasy. So
agreed. I
it's
think
closer than some of the others, but I wouldn't do it.
it's a no-brainer for me with the Vikings and the Bengals.
Yeah.
And you can't really push me on any other ones. You could get me close with the Jets. I think I'm just fine.
Okay, quick rapid fire round to close out. We're not even going to talk
Yeah.
about anything around them. These are just teams with bad records this year. Would you trade places with the Commanders?
Yes.
Yes. It's Jaden Daniels is all the whole thing. A lot of that roster's old and needs turned, but yeah.
No doubt.
They're 3-8. Cardinals 3-7. Would you trade with them?
No.
Would you prefer them over the Browns? Is my question.
No.
It's an interesting one. I also don't know that I would either. Looking outside of the Kyler thing looming,
Yeah.
it's going to get weird. I think Gannon's time is running out. Falcons gets interesting. I think I would take them because I like their higher end talent, the London, the Bijan, some of those pieces.
It's hard.
But the pick they just moved and where that pick is going to land, and Penix being the what we've seen so far, it's closer than what I would like it to be, but I would still take the Falcons in
I
this
think
current setup.
That's like a toss up. Man, I think I would stay the course with the Browns because the Bijan is in the that's like almost impossible to pass up. But with Penix spiraling like this,
yeah, it's in an uncomfortable place. And again, like if they had their first pick,
it'd be okay.
It'd be an easy, but like they're put themselves in a real bind here, and it's not like they've had that much production from who was it that they drafted? I can't even think of who it was that they took. They took an edge that they were dying to move. I believe it was the Tennessee edge. James Pierce, I think, is who it was that they moved up to go
Who's their
get.
head coach?
And he's been Raheem Morris is their guy, who I like. Raheem.
I do too, but
they got like their blue chip talent. They got one of the best guards in the game in Lindstrom. Jesse Bates is great. Bijan, Drake, Terrell, AJ Terrell's an elite corner. Jake Matthews, the tackle. Like I just like their high end talent. Their better tackle situation. So I would take them, but it's less. They've put themselves in this position where the quarterback and giving up the pick that wasn't even giving up a pick for a quarterback makes it like, maybe not. And that's a detriment to them because of
that's
their
very close.
Yeah,
it's very close.
All right, that's it. I would love to hear feedback on what you guys think we got right or wrong. It's an interesting thought exercise. We tried to pick every team that's struggling this year. The only team that is in the bottom 20 here of PFF grades that we didn't throw in the mix is Carolina, who's 6-5. And this doesn't feel fair to them. When you're 6-5, you've earned the right to get out of this discussion. So we will save the Carolina Panthers from this discussion. We'll keep them out of it. Yeah, I think that's just like you know what, you guys 6-5, you deserve to stay out of it, Panthers. We'll do right by you. So good stuff. Good show. It's an interesting situation in Carolina, and they're really playing. They're maximizing. I like their young coach. They're doing a good job.
Yeah,
doing a good job. But yeah, this is fun. Like I said, give us feedback. Let us know what you think. Different thought exercise on a Tuesday. Browns are, off and everything's quiet, and I thought it'd be an interesting thing to do. So, it just comes down to like Brad and I always go back and forth on the Hail Mary of the offense this offseason. They can get it right. They can be out of this discussion. They could be the 6-5 Carolina Panthers getting the respect they deserve next year and being out of these discussions entirely.
The half-court shot.
The half-court shot. Steph Curry shooting it? I'm in. Yeah. All right. That's it for this show. Let us know again. Give us feedback. We appreciate you. Coming up, holiday season. Think about giving someone you know in your life who loves the Cleveland Browns a subscription to Browns Film Breakdown. That will make their holiday season that much better, because after the holiday seasons, when we get into the more fun stuff, free agency, draft pick stuff, all that fun stuff, we'll get to that. I promise you. And we'll continue to look ahead as much as we can. I'm going to start doing more draft content on this site to get you guys prepared for quarterback banter, all that fun. Fun is the loose way to phrase it, but interesting dialogue that's coming there. But this game this weekend, as far as the tankathon goes, which is not fun, but is very important.
Huge.
To this weekend to not win this game, to get the quarterback opportunity you want without having to threaten giving up the Jags pick. It's huge. So we will be here dialed in and ready to discuss all of it, but we'll have plenty of podcasts from now to then. We'll get with a Raiders guest and we'll have everything we need to know about them as well. And obviously continue to talk through what the Browns do at practice this week, because it's a huge week. We got to see if Shador is going to start and all the injury stuff and who's going to play in this game. It all is going to hit pretty rapidly. So we'll have all that in a mailbag for you too. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys, as we say, and we'll continue to say until the day we die. Go Bears.